Hello, I am Billy, aka the Classic Bill, aka Billy the Child, aka an overwhelmingly anxious 20-something escaping into video games from his childhood for any dopamine he can get his hands on, and today I am going to do the unthinkable, the impossible, dare I say it, the slightly inconvenient. I am going to rank every death in Kingdom Hearts right here, right now. I don't just mean Kingdom Hearts the game. I mean the whole dang franchise. There are about 40 deaths in total by my count, and that excludes some scenarios that I deemed insignificant, not important enough, or barely a death. Like, beating one of the Disney bosses in KH1, I didn't really consider that a character death, cause like, come on, don't make me rank those. Those are dumb. You and I both know what deaths really matter in this franchise, and it's not Oogie Boogie turning into his own house and then disintegrating. No. These are characters that actually have story significance and whose deaths actually have some meaning. I use the word some because death has proven to be nothing more than a minor embarrassment in this series for most of the characters. I tried not to let the fact that most of these people end up resurrected in some way to affect my rankings, because if I did, every single entry would be tied for the bottom tier. And obviously, this video will contain heavy spoilers for every single Kingdom Hearts game, including 3, so be warned. Alright, now that we got all the logistics out of the way, let's get down to the ranking. Number 40, Dark Riku, Kingdom Hearts 3. Dark Riku's death is at the bottom of the list, not because it's a bad cutscene, but because his death is literally insignificant in the context of what's happening. The scene is about Riku and his connection to Riku Replica. You could replace Dark Riku with any other member of Organization 13, Real Organization 13, and it wouldn't make any difference. He is a prop in the scene depicting his own death, and that's just lame to me. Number 39, Lexaeus, Chain of Memories. We now enter the section of the list I like to refer to as That's all these deaths are. Just particle effects and God, that hurts my throat. Why did I name this section that? Anyways, Lexaeus is already a super boring character. Combine that with a death that is little more than constipation, and you got second to last on the list. Number 38, Maleficent, Kingdom Hearts. Surprisingly, one of the main antagonists of the first game and one of the best boss battles gets one of the most unmemorable deaths in the series. Just more and particle effects. Rest in pieces, you beautiful bastard. Number 37, Xaldin, Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm just now realizing this section of the list is going to be super boring and repetitive because all these deaths are the same. I suppose I put Xaldin higher than the previous 3 because he's woven into Beast's story pretty well, and the context around the death is decent. Good boss battle, too. Number 36, Marluxia, Chain of Memories. This one hurt. I really didn't want to put Marluxia so low, especially in the game where he's the main antagonist, but what else can I say other than... Oh, fuck, I really don't want to do it again. Alright, come on, it's just one more, come on. Alright, you can do this, Billy, you can do this. 1, 2, 3. Alright, good job, Billy. You did a good one on that one, that was good. Number 35, Vanitas, Birth by Sleep. Okay, we're officially out of the territory. Vanitas is low on the list because we don't actually explicitly see his death, but it's higher than the others because look at this. Look at him struggle. Look at him suffer! After a whole game where he's the biggest jerk in the 7 seas, we finally get to see him lose, even if it is only for a brief moment. I enjoy the suffering of others. Number 34, Xigbar, Kingdom Hearts 2. Xigbar's death is pretty short and unremarkable, but there's something about that that works here. He taunts us up to the very end, even in the face of death. He's got to get that one final jab in there. It's so in character, and I really enjoy that. Number 33, Xemnas, Kingdom Hearts 2. I wish this one weren't so low, but I really had to detach the death scene from the rest of the fight and the scene before that. We're not ranking villains or characters, we're ranking deaths, and Xemnas just kind of farts out of existence. Not even like a final one-liner or anything, he just kind of Voldemort's out of there. If anything, he probably shouldn't even be this high on the list, but I just couldn't bring myself to lower him further than this. Number 32, Young Xehanort, Kingdom Hearts 3. So, we're treading into some personal bias here, but I really don't care about young Xehanort. He has like this whole diatribe about, I'm truly the winner because I'll just return to my timeline, but you, Sora, you're gonna get karate chopped into oblivion. I'm pretty sure that's the exact line he says. Regardless, he's right. This death is pretty meaningless in the grand scheme of things, and he spends his final moments telling us so. Number 31, Saïx, Kingdom Hearts 2. I thought Saïx had a longer death, but when I watched all these cutscenes for this ranking, I was surprised to discover it was only like 2 lines. They're poignant ones, but still, only 2? I feel like he deserved much more, and I guess the writers felt that way too, considering how significant he becomes later in the series. Wink, wink. Number 30, Vanitas, Kingdom Hearts 3. I kind of like this scene, but I also feel like it goes on for way too long. It's an interesting exploration into the philosophy of Kingdom Hearts' light and darkness dichotomy, but it also never really goes past surface level. Vanitas is like, I'm evil, and Sora and Ven are like, really? And he's like, yeah, lol, okay, bye, and then he dies. It's an interesting concept, but I wanted a bit more from it. Number 29, Demyx, Kingdom Hearts 2. Demyx's death is a bit of an outlier. For all intents and purposes, this is an death, but instead of just screaming, Demyx goes, "No way!" It's just so in character for him and so endearing. I love it. Number 28, Zexion, Chain of Memories. We have officially crossed into good territory. From this point onwards, I would consider all of these deaths, at the very least, good. In this scene, we get Axel and Riku Replica doing a little bit of espionage, of which Zexion is the unfortunate victim. It's a cool scene, and it even makes you feel a little bit sorry for Zexion, despite you just beating the crap out of him 5 seconds prior. Number 27, Marluxia, Kingdom Hearts 3. Finally, Marluxia gets a death that's actually interesting. Knowing now everything we've learned about Lauriam and Union Cross, it only makes sense that Marluxia's second death would be a poignant one. He finally remembers who he once was, which fills him with joy and sadness, as the person he used to be was scarred by loss. He leaves, grateful that he was finally able to recover who he once was. If that doesn't bring a single anime tear to your eye, I don't know what will. Number 26, Luxord, Kingdom Hearts 2. Luxord's death is this high up strictly because I think this is a cool finishing blow. Look at this shit. Sora just straight up cleaved him in half. That's hardcore as fuck. Also, no, I'm not gonna call him Luxord, it's Luxord, alright? Fuck. Number 25, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, Kingdom Hearts. I really wish I could have put this one higher, considering it's the death of the series' first big antagonist, and the first time we actually get to see Kingdom Hearts, but there's just something missing here. I love the line delivery from Billy Zane. You really feel his confusion as he fades away. I love the thematic importance of Ansem being proven wrong about the true nature of the heart. I guess just the final battles are so lengthy and epic. I was kinda hoping for another grand monologue before he gets offed, but oh well. It's still pretty good. Number 24, Larxene, Chain of Memories. I'm just gonna reuse this Mr. Krabs clip again.
Look at him suffer!
Larxene is a thoroughly enjoyable character in how much joy she takes in tormenting Sora, but it's even more enjoyable to watch her finally get her comeuppance. The way she goes kicking and screaming into oblivion after causing us so much trouble, it's just satisfying to watch. Or maybe I'm just a sociopath, I don't know. Number 23, Nameless Sky in Traverse Town, Kingdom Hearts. Alright, hear me out. Let me paint a picture for you. You're 6 years old. You just picked up this new Disney game you've heard about called Kingdom Hearts. It's gotten a little dark and mysterious at times, but for the most part, it's been a pretty fun romp. Then, suddenly, you're at this new place called Traverse Town. The music is nice, the colors are warm, Pluto the dog is here, it's a good time. Let's check out what's behind this big old door. Alright, wait, who's this? What? Oh, holy shit! Is it? Oh my god, he was just murdered in front of me! Even though this character has no significance, the death scene is an incredible tone setter for the story, and it also establishes the Heartless as a real threat. They're not just cute little bug things anymore, they will straight up kill a man. I've always thought this scene was great at unsettling the player early in the story, and I'm glad I finally got the opportunity to praise it. Number 22, Master Xehanort, Kingdom Hearts 3. In terms of finally putting Master Xehanort to rest after countless years and spin-offs and build-up, this scene does its job. I'm not totally happy with how much kindness he's treated with in the end, but I much prefer this scene over an character arcs get wrapped up and we finally get to see him conclusively move on to the afterlife. He's gone. Permanently. He's floated away and he's never coming back. Oh god damn it! Number 21, Ansem the Wise, Kingdom Hearts 2. What can I say? I'm a sucker for the vocal stylings of Sir Christopher Lee, may he rest in peace. I love that he and his former apprentice get to verbally spar before he finally sacrifices himself, all in an attempt to undo some of the pain he's caused over the years. It's a notable end to a complex character. If I had to nitpick, I'd say that the scene goes on for a tad too long, but other than that, Ansem is given the spotlight he deserves before he goes out with a bang. That was funny. Number 20, Larxene, Kingdom Hearts 3. There's plenty of valid compliments I could give this scene, like I enjoy we get to see Larxene actually reflect on her situation for a brief moment, and once again we get to see a pretty entertainingly irritating character get her just desserts. But let's be real. The only reason I put this one so high is this glorious line.
I didn't ask you for your garbage opinion.
What an incredible line. I quote it at least once a day. I can't believe Square just handed us this line on a silver platter and it hasn't been memed to death yet. I feel like I'm the only one who adores this line this much. Am I crazy? Yeah, probably. Number 19, Axel, the second time, Kingdom Hearts 2. I remember when I first saw this scene. This was when I truly started to love Axel as a character. It made me realize he's not just some renegade who likes to play by his own rules. No, instead he's motivated strictly by his emotions. Why did he attack us in the beginning? He was hurt that Roxas forgot him. Why did he kidnap Kairi? He missed his friend. Why did he sacrifice himself for Sora? He felt guilty. It's the first time we've really seen a morally gray character in the Kingdom Hearts franchise. Before that, I'd say the closest we got was Riku, but even then he fell into the trappings of was bad, is now good. There aren't a ton of huge, memorable lines in this scene, but Axel gets to show his complexities as a character, and that's why I think it's so great. Number 18, Vexen, Chain of Memories. Pivoting away from the drama of Axel's character arc, here he is absolutely annihilating Vexen with the snap of his fucking fingers.
Goodbye.
Sometimes I start to think, Axel's kind of overrated, but then I think, oh yeah, this scene exists. Number 17, Master Ericus, Birth by Sleep. Aw man, back to the sad stuff. Yeah, this scene just breaks my heart. Both people in this situation believe they're doing the right thing, and once the dust settles, they're so close to reconciling, and... Before Terra can know that it's not his fault, before Ericus can forgive his apprentice, it's all cut short by Leonard Nimoy. Honestly, this scene is really sad and I don't like talking about my personal feelings, so let's get on to the next one. Number 16, Saïx, Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay, these two are gay. You can't tell me they're not supposed to be boyfriends. You simply cannot look at this scene and be like, nah, I don't want them to end up together romantically. I was unsure of the whole Lee-Aiza relationship until this scene right here. It's just the right amount of redemption, reconnection, grief, and heartache. It's just... perfection. Make this ship canon, you cowards. Number 15, Luxord, Kingdom Hearts 3. I like that this scene does multiple things. As he's fading away, Luxord gives Sora a wild card saying that it
could turn the tables.
as of the making of this video, we still have no idea what this card does or what tables it's supposed to turn, but it's a nice little tease for future stuff, while also showing that Sora has earned Luxord's respect. After this, Sora offers to play Luxord again sometime in the future.
When we're just guys.
Luxord responds,
I should like that very much, Sora.
I don't know, there's something really wholesome about the whole exchange, and it results in one of the most heartwarming deaths in the series. Can you call a death heartwarming? It sounds a little insensitive. Oh well, he's just a game character, he's literally ones and zeros. What are you gonna do, cancel me? Number 14. Ansem Seeker of Darkness, Kingdom Hearts 3. Speaking of heartwarming deaths, here's another one that has just a bit more impact than Luxord. Ansem was the very first antagonist in the Kingdom Hearts series chronologically, so having him here finally admitting that he's been beaten, even commending Riku and Sora on their strength, it's powerful stuff. There's a twinge of sadness there as he fades away, remarking on how nothing in his existence really holds meaning for him anymore. But before it can get too sad, he drops one of my favorite lines of Kingdom Hearts 3.
There is more to seek. So go forth now and seek it.
Number 13. Then, in a way, Birth by Sleep. So I suppose I need to address the elephant in the room in that this isn't technically a death, but I honestly do consider it one. Ven's life, as he knew it, came to an end. He lost his heart. There's his lifeless body. He is no longer actively alive. I think that's dead enough for this list anyways. I like this whole sequence because of how bittersweet it is. Ven defeated Vanitas and stopped the X-Blade from being forged, and he's happy about that despite it coming at the cost of his own life. He lays peacefully to rest in Sora's heart, knowing it's going to be a long time before he can regain the life he once had. There's a lot of conflicting emotions, and it's one of the more complex moments in the series, which I always appreciated. Number 12. Xemnas, Kingdom Hearts 3. I love that this is the end of Xemnas' character arc. First off, the character writing in this scene is great. Xemnas talks exactly how he used to back in Kingdom Hearts 2. He hasn't changed a bit, and in that way, you almost start to pity him. Even after his emotions return, all he can recognize is pain. It only reaffirms his strongly held belief that hearts are filled exclusively with negativity. He doubles down on the viewpoint that nothingness is the only way, and he fades into oblivion. But just before he goes, he and Sora have possibly my favorite exchange in all of Kingdom Hearts.
Pain is being human, Xemnas.
Really? It must take incredible strength.
Number 11. Axel the first time, Kingdom Hearts 2. Axel's fake-out death isn't necessarily as meaty as his real death, but it does a great job of establishing his past with Roxas, as well as his wisecracking personality, even in the face of death. And once you replay this scene with all of the knowledge of 358 over 2 days, it becomes that much more heartbreaking, as this is the last time Axel and Roxas get to see each other until this part in Kingdom Hearts 3. They both know in this moment their friendship might be over. Sorry, couldn't resist. But the cherry on top, the reason this scene is so high up, is because of their final words to each other.
Let's meet again in the next life.
Yeah, I'll be waiting.
Silly. Just because you have a next life.
So much is said in so few words. That's some good shit right there. Number 10. Riku Replica, Chain of Memories. Okay, time for a confession. I've never beaten Chain of Memories. The Game Boy or the console version. I just hate the card system so much. I'm sorry. Really, I'm really sorry. I've watched the cutscenes and I've read the general synopses, so I know the essence of what happens, but one part of it had always eluded me, and that's Riku's story. I knew they essentially cloned him, and then he defeats the clone, and it represents the darkness inside him, and I thought, great, got it. What I didn't know was that Riku Replica is like his own character. I was told this many times throughout the course of Kingdom Hearts 3, so for this video, I went back and I properly watched the death of Riku Replica, and chills. This scene is all I needed to know. It's one of the best self-contained stories in Kingdom Hearts. The pure anguish, the raging against the dying of the light, this poor thing brought into existence for one purpose, a purpose that it failed to accomplish. This scene just absolutely breaks my heart. Number 9, Strelitzia, Union Cross. You thought I forgot about Union Cross, didn't you? How could I leave out Strelitzia? Similar to Riku Replica, we have this short, self-contained little character arc about Strelitzia having a crush on you, the player character. She wants to say something and introduce herself, but she never works up the courage. It seems fate is slowly pushing us together to join the Dandelions until suddenly, she's murdered. Not turned into a Heartless, just straight up murdered. This is when the story of Union Cross really started to hook me. Kingdom Hearts has been a lot of things in the past, but a murder mystery? That's awesome! The intrigue of the murder combined with the absolute heartbreak of seeing this pure, lonely girl struck down in cold blood was just so unprecedented and unexpected, making it one of the most memorable moments not only in the mobile game, but in the series as a whole. Number 8, Terra, In a Way, Birth by Sleep. Much like Ven, this is more of a death by a technicality, but I would still definitely consider it a death. What I like about Terra's death so much is that it's not just one scene. It's not even one boss battle, it's multiple boss battles. You really feel his will to survive, to pull through, to
set this right.
He refuses to die, even after he's already technically dead. With his final breath, he promises his friends that he will come back for them someday, not knowing how or when. It's just so indicative of Terra's character, and it elevates what was already a good final act to an incredible one. Number 7, Everyone and Everything, Kingdom Hearts Cross. What can I say about this sequence? The world is ending. The Keyblade War that we've had teased since the very first game is finally upon us, and as hard as the characters attempt to prevent it, it seems inevitable. The heroes you once looked up to are now turning their blades on you in combat. Friends are clashing in life or death situations. It's the apocalypse, and the only people to survive are the ones who literally left this reality to avoid it. To quote Socrates, shit's fucked up. Number 6, All 7 Wielders of Light, Kingdom Hearts 3. When I first saw this part, I couldn't believe what I was watching. It felt so wrong. This is Kingdom Hearts. The good guys always win. I didn't even get to fight anyone yet. Sora's crying? What? He's giving up? What the fuck is going on? Sure, ultimately, this part just exists to force Sora into using the power of waking a bunch of times so that the next time he uses it, there are consequences. But it's still shocking and pretty freaking memorable. We've spent the entire game assembling these heroes, resurrecting people, pulling them out of the realm of darkness, and then suddenly, bam, nope, dead. I know some fans think it's redundant and a bit stupid, but in my opinion, this is one of the most daring things Kingdom Hearts has ever pulled off. Note that I said one of the most daring, because the truly most daring thing that Kingdom Hearts has ever done is Number 5, fucking Donald, Kingdom Hearts 3, Zeta Flare. There are no words. Donald pulls a fucking Bon Jovi. Daring, bold, life-changing. No description will ever truly do this moment justice. Donald becomes the most powerful black mage in the entire Final Fantasy universe, and then he fucking dies. What a goddamn legend. Rest in power, King. Number 4, Sora, Kingdom Hearts 3. Shockingly, yes, Donald was not number 1 on my list. There are a few more deaths that aren't memes that I thought were especially affecting, one of which being Sora himself at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm not especially crazy about the fact that he essentially dies off screen, but Remind pretty much remedied that complaint. The Xehanort saga is finally over. Everyone got to live happily ever after. Everyone except the one person who made it all happen, Sora. Maybe it's because of my personal feelings that his death is this high on this list, but I first played Kingdom Hearts when I was 6 years old. Ever since then, I've been growing with these games, with these characters, with Sora. Of course he's not gone for good, but the fact that he disappeared at all, it got to me. It still gets to me. If I think about it too much, it feels like the end of an era, the end of my childhood in a way. Again, I know he's gonna come back, but Sora's death punched me right in the gut. Number 3, Roxas, the second time, Kingdom Hearts 2. Another technical death here, but Roxas is surrendering his autonomy as a singular person here, and that's death enough for me. Having Roxas's demise be playable as a boss battle, it works on so many levels. Not only do we see him struggle against his death, but we feel it. We actively attempt to beat him into submission. Doesn't hurt that it's probably the most difficult story boss in the game. And that music? Excuse me, that music? Yoko Shimomura was like, gonna go into work today, think I'll have a cup of coffee, sit down at my desk, casually write some of the best fucking music in existence. I quoted a Dylan Thomas poem earlier, Rage Against the Dying of the Light. The full title of the poem is Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. It's a pretty famous poem, and it essentially boils down to the writer hoping that as his time to pass on approaches, he doesn't just lay over and surrender. There's so much vibrancy and passion in our lives, and it's worth fighting for. What is this scene but the perfect encapsulation of that? Number 2, Xion, 358 over 2 days. I don't have much to say about this scene other than sad. Xion dies in the arms of her best friend who was forced to kill her, and then he immediately forgets she ever existed. She surrenders everything, an existence, a legacy, because she wants to do the right thing and stop Xemnas. It's noble, it's heartbreaking, it's a beautiful scene, and I tear up every single time I get to this part in days. Number 1, Roxas, the first time, Kingdom Hearts 2. What can I say that hasn't been said about this scene? They force you to play as this kid instead of Sora, and it's pretty slow and uneventful, but despite everything, you start to care about him. You want him to win the struggle tournament. You want to see him go to the beach. But also, deep down, you want to see Sora again. Everyone wants to see him again. But for that to happen, we have to let go of the life we just spent close to 4 hours building. For one story to properly begin, we have to end another. It is both literal and figurative. I think the opening to Kingdom Hearts 2 is nothing short of brilliant. It's Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2 done slightly more elegantly. I feel like this could be the subject for an entire video on its own, so instead of rambling, I'm just going to end this video with one of the most iconic lines in Kingdom Hearts history.
You're lucky. Looks like my summer vacation is over.
And that about does it for me today. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to everyone who set up March Caprice this year and for featuring me in the lineup and giving me a time slot. I'm truly grateful for this opportunity. And thanks for listening to me ramble about some of my favorite parts of the Kingdom Hearts franchise. This game has meant a lot to me for my entire life. I have an Oathkeeper tattoo on my chest. So, just having this chance to talk about everything. It means a lot to me. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.